Welcome back for another video. The bench boost is active, we've got 2 game weeks remaining. We've got some decisions to make this week with 2 free transfers as well. In this one we're going to run through how the team's set to line up for Double Gameweek 37 and the transfer plans this week. If you enjoyed the content, make sure you subscribe in. Starting with a quick look at how last game week went. It was a really good week actually, 108 points all out, which was a green arrow to just outside the top 50k. I was at the Arsenal game as well, so it was even better watching the game live and locking the clean sheets in there. One man who didn't lock a clean sheet in was Ederson, who conceded a standard 1 goal and an easy win otherwise. And this of course meant benching Petrovic for his clean sheet against West Ham. I think it was the right decision, but the wrong outcome really. I'd always start City home to Wolves over Chelsea home to West Ham. I've seen some teams with 11 out of 11 players returning. It was a pretty high scoring week. Foden with an assist, Son, Palmer, Isak, Jackson, Haaland all scoring. Well played if you managed to break 100 points. Haaland with his biggest score of the season as well, 21 points for 42 points as captain. Again, quite unlucky with how swingy that was if he captained someone else like Palmer. Gordon should have had a second assist after winning a penalty which Isak took and it was saved. Can't complain though, it was a good week and some jammy bench points with Son subbing on for the first game in Bruno's career that he's missed of injury. So the bench boost is active, final chip of the season. Let's run through the team for Double Gameweek 37. In goal it's Ederson. I'm keeping the starting 11 honest to see how the bench boost actually does, rather than benching the likes of Palmer, Ederson, Foden, etc. So it's Petrovic on the bench. Man City have got 2 away games to Fulham and Spurs this game week. I've calculated the combined clean sheet odds for those with a double, and City are top with a 58.8% chance of keeping 1 or more clean sheet. So I'm happy to have a defensive asset, albeit Vardy will clearly emerge as the superior pick. In defence it's a back 3 of Burn, Pedro Porro and Romero. Romero's done great to give me a late season nudge in rank after his goal in Double Gameweek 35. It's difficult to find those little opportunities when the template is so strong at the moment. I think the 2 massive upside opportunities this week are Richarlison and De Bruyne, a couple of names to consider if you are indeed chasing. My concern is that this is simply a must-win game for Burnley if they want to stay up, which is exactly why I think Richarlison and Son are great picks this week. I can see it playing into Tottenham's hands for an open game. But given that it's must win for Burnley, even that game could be unlikely for a clean sheet, and then it's Man City in the second game. Pedro Porro and Romero are the most attacking defenders at least, and they have shown their capabilities to get a return. No defender's got as many as Romero's 5 goals this season. White, Senesi and Cher have got 4. And Pedro Porro's got a goal and 8 assists for 9 involvements this season. Only Trippier and Doughty have got more among defenders. Depending on Bruno's injury, there is a chance that Romero leaves the team this week, more on that later. Burn's the best of the Newcastle defenders following Cher's injury. I got very lucky with that one, or it would have meant a transfer on the Cher to Burn move that lots are making this week. After some horrendous luck earlier in the season, wildcarding at 3.7 mil, it seems to have levelled out and gone the opposite way in the final third, sitting at around 50k rank since then. Onto the midfield 5, which is Palmer, Gordon, Foden, Fernandes and Son. Here's the relegation battle then. Burnley are in 19th with 24 points, 5 points outside safety. In honesty, their fate's almost certainly sealed already. It's a must-win game to leave themselves with a chance in Game Week 38, which is why I think this should be such a great game for Spurs. Plus it's a home game, and they need to put on a performance in front of home fans after 4 losses on the bounce. I think this one ends something like 4-1. Gordon's got 131 points in home games this season, only Palmer's got more of 137, 9 goals, 13 assists in home games, and the home to Brighton first, followed by an away game to Man United, who've got 1 clean sheet since Game Week 24. This graphic from Rob T FPL lays out the projected goals and clean sheets nicely for this game week. After City, Newcastle are second for projected goals of 4.4, which makes the Gordon and Isak double up ideal this week, and then Spurs are in third with 4.18 goals, which lends weight to the Son and Richarlison double up. Man United have got the worst clean sheet odds of all the Double Gameweek teams. There were a lot of comments about Noah, Nana, Dalley or Maguire in the wildcard team, and this was exactly why. Not that Spurs are an elite defence, but they're better than United at the moment. Palmer's vice-captain this week. If you're chasing, he is an option for captaincy, but as we saw last week, it can go badly when Haaland shows up, who will be the most captain player, and he is the most transferred in this week. Over the last 6 game weeks, Palmer's 7.91 XGI is comfortably top in the league. Second's Isak with 6.61 XGI, and then it's Haaland with 5.38 expected goal involvement. Foden's had an incredible season, he's really gone up a level. Last season was his best scoring season with 11 goals and 7 assists, 142 points. This season he's already got 16 goals, 8 assists with 204 points. I'm not looking forward to squeezing in Foden, Saka, Palmer and Haaland into my FPL team next season. I'm sure he'll only get better as well, still only 23, and he's become one of Pep's most important players. If Bruno's out injured, there is the option to sell Bruno for Garnacho and Foden to De Bruyne, but I'm not sure if it's the best move. It could be quite swingy. So what we currently know is Ten Hag said that Bruno is going to give everything to be fit for the Palace game and we should never rule him out, which leads me to believe he almost made the game. Assuming that's the case, and the next update we get is a good one that he's back in training, ready for Arsenal etc, then he'll stay in the team. There's little hope at the back for Man United, but at least with Bruno in the team there's hope for goals and points. The Bruno to Garnacho move looks good on paper since it affords De Bruyne, but realistically how will Garnacho and Man United look without Bruno in the team, and does De Bruyne definitely outscore Foden? Man United just lost 4-0 to Palace after all. We'll talk transfer plans depending on the Bruno news in a minute. The front two this week is Haaland and Isak, the best two forwards in the game right now. There's always a risk when you wildcard longer than a week before the bench boost that you could get unexpected injuries or situations can change where some other asset becomes far better. But I seem to have dodged all those bullets besides the Bruno flag, so on paper it's an extremely strong team, and if I could change anything now, the only two changes would be for Vicario and Vardiol instead of Edison and Romero. Isak's on 20 goals for the season now and 24 starts, and with his 2 assists that's almost a goal involvement per game. At this stage of the season, a difference maker can be which teams have got something to play for and which don't. Newcastle are 4 points off Europa League spot, but they also need to be careful that United or Chelsea don't leapfrog them if they lose a game. Haaland gets the captaincy this week. It's the safe option, but in my view it is also the best option, so I'm not going to overthink it. Just 4 points outside top 50k, which I'll be happy enough with, 0.45% finish. He's been given an 80% chance of scoring any time this game week. His effective ownership is probably going to be about 200%, so I'll be looking elsewhere in my team to make up the rank game. Only Palmer's got more than Haaland's 7.1 points per game this season with 7.2. I'd like to see them price Haaland at 14.5 mil or even 50 mil next season to really make a decision whether to buy him. Despite the 14 mil price tag this season, he's still reached 90+% ownership at times, which is pointlessly high. Let me know if you agree with that. On the bench, it's Petrovic, Jackson, Gabriel and Saliba. So I've got 2 doublers on the bench, and then it's Gabriel and Saliba, who realistically could keep a clean sheet at Old Trafford. They've got a 34% chance of a clean sheet according to the bookies. So in terms of transfer plans, I've got 2 free transfers, so literally burning a transfer is an option this week, which gives me double Arsenal defence in Game Week 38. I'm thinking I may as well have a bit of fun and make a transfer though, so the current plan is to sell Saliba for Dunk. Now admittedly, Brighton have a poor double from a defensive perspective against Newcastle and Chelsea, both teams which have been performing recently. Given all of Newcastle's missing players at the back, you never know, he might get something off a set piece. 3.1 expected goals for Dunk this season, which is 4th among all defenders, not that far behind Gabriel for example. The alternative option is to buy Tarkowski, who's got a single game week against Sheffield United home. This is probably the more sensible option. I'm at a point in the season where I might as well have a bit of fun with my transfers, rather than trying to squeeze out every drop of whatever's optimal. It worked with the Romero pick anyway. If Bruno's out for the Arsenal game or the entire game week, then he'll leave the team instead. In this scenario, the plan is to sell him for Richarlison and then Romero to Dunk. These moves make a lot of sense if Bruno's out. The Garnacho and De Bruyne option are solid moves as well, but I'd rather not leave myself exposed to Foden's high ownership. So with the Saliba to Dunk move, although I've been losing double Arsenal defence, I've got a route back to it in Game Week 38. To quickly walk that through, in Game Week 38 I'd go Bruno to Havertz and then Dunk to White. Ordinarily very messy to go Saliba to Dunk to White, but no problem in the final couple game weeks. And obviously with the Bruno to Richarlison route, I would be keeping double Arsenal defence anyway, and selling Romero instead. So either way I should have double Arsenal defence in Game Week 38 home to Everton. However, I'd rather Bruno to be fine so I can take 2 moves into the final game week. So that's the team, one more team selection video to come. For more FPL content, hit a video on screen now. See you soon for the next one.